The tea. The tea is warm. What is going on, everybody? I go by the name of Kari, and I want to thank you guys for joining me here today on SneakerPhetish. If you are here, you know why you're here. You know why we're here. Just sit down, grab some popcorn. I promise you guys, we're not going to be here as long as we were here a year ago. But y'all know I got to bring it up, all right? It's a hot topic right now. Kool Kiy getting sued officially by Nike Inc. for knocking off designs of the Air Jordan 1. I hate to be the guy that said I told you so, but I told you so. We got to get into this and see what's going on here. So first things first, we got to recap a little bit and talk about kind of what got us here. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Kool Kiy's brand. I want to talk a little bit about my personal thoughts about Kool Kiy because I feel like a lot of people have it wrong about the way that I feel about him. And then we'll talk a little bit about, Omi and the Hellcat and everything else like that. So let's get directly into it. So a year ago, I talked a little bit about what was going on with Kool Kiy. We actually looked at one of Kool Kiy's official models, the Air Kiy, or just the Kiy now, because apparently he's taken the air off of the name of the sneaker. We talked about the quality of the shoe. I was not impressed with the quality of the shoe. That moment kind of got around the internet a little bit with me folding the sneaker up like a taco, which the quality, from what I understand, has been kind of hit or miss even since that video. So some people say it's better. Some people say the quality is the same. I don't really know because I don't own a pair of those sneakers and I don't ever intend to. But with that being said, what we didn't know and what I didn't even know was that last year, around the time that that video was made, there was a story that went out that ended up being satire. It ended up being false, that claimed a year ago that Nike had actually sued Kool Kiy and Jordan Brand. And that story buzzed around a little bit before it ended up being proven as being false. But what we didn't know what was going on at the time was that there was actually some paperwork that was issued to Kool Kiy and to Omi and Hellcat for a cease and desist. Apparently, Nike told him a year ago that they wanted him to stop, and Kiy, in typical Kool Kiy fashion, basically flipped them a bird and kept on selling his shoes. The brand didn't like that too much. As a result of him really not doing anything to stop what he was doing, the brand decided to take further action against him and Omi and Hellcat, two people that laughingly have a history of having beef with one another, that they actually now have to work together because now they're named as co-defendants on this new case, this official case with Jordan Brand suing Kool Kiy. Now, I don't really need to get into the specifics of what Nike is suing Kool Kiy for because it's pretty obvious. I mean, clearly he's knocking off Air Jordan 1s. Like, it's not really news. So I'm going to spare you guys going through the entire lawsuit and all the documents, and we're going to keep this kind of an op-ed piece. We're going to talk mainly about kind of opinion and kind of what's going on here with this. But long story short, in the lawsuit, they call out a lot of different sneakers that him and Omi actually made. They call out some collaborations that Kiy did with the HBCU Collection, which, myth number one, let's just debunk this right now, because a lot of people have said Nike is stealing from Kool Kiy. Kool Kiy came up with the whole HBCU thing and Nike stole it from him. And so why is Nike doing it? Newsflash, Google is your friend, all right? Yard Runners 1.0 originated in 2020. The first collaboration that Kool Kiy did, which was with FAMU as an HBCU collection, didn't debut until March of 2021. Ergo, Nike was the first one that actually came out with a collaboration in a campaign for HBCUs, and Kool Kiy bit off that, not the other way around. Moving on. So even in light of this lawsuit that they're looking for real damages, by the way, Nike is looking for real money. They not only want to shut down Kool Kiy and Omi and Hellcat's business to make an example out of them about why you don't mess with Nike like this, but they also want money. This case, while it's not public knowledge, I would imagine this case is probably worth millions of dollars. But the funny thing about it is that Kool Kiy seems to be just laughing and smiling and buying cars his way through this entire thing. He seems to be really lax about it. And I don't know if that means that he's going to win this case or if it means that he's just really narcissistic and really delusional. Now, my common sense would tell me that it's more of the latter than the former, but I guess we'll see. People like Kool Kiy and Omi and Hellcat are what I feel are called the rebels, right? Like, there's this rebellious culture within sneakers and streetwear that really amplifies independent designers like Kool Kiy or Warren Lotus or all these other people that basically are against the establishment of big giant companies like Nike. They say, hey, if you want to make it difficult for us to be able to get these shoes, we're going to go and get them from somewhere else. Or if you're a designer, we're going to go and make our own thing, which is cool. That's dope. But the way that you establish that brand being literally on the backbone of a trademarked and copywritten and patented design of a company like Nike, just isn't the smartest thing to me. Now, in the video that I made last year, I talked a lot about Kool Kiy's business practices. I talked about Club Foreign when he got sued by Bentley and Volkswagen for trademark infringement and kind of the sketchy past and history that he's had. I've talked to a few people offline that will remain anonymous that have pretty much validated that Kiy does not have the best history with customer service or with his business practices. Apparently, some people that he's even gone to college with, apparently he had a reputation for being a bit of a scammer and a bit of a finesser even back then. Now, this was back in the days of support black colleges, and even before that, one of his first brands that he came out with, which was called Originals. Now, here's a funny thing. I actually found the old Originals Tumblr page that hasn't been active since 2011, and I find it really interesting that Kool Kiy even was putting Originals patches on Air Max 95s, creating these interesting colorways of Air Jordan 7s. So clearly making new colorways of already existing Nike models has been a thing for Kool Kiy. So I don't really know why it's news now, or for that matter, why he's claiming that all of a sudden these are his original designs that differ enough from Nike and Jordan Brand's product when, dog, even back in 2011, you were utilizing Nike product as inspiration. As a matter of fact, there's a video from a few years ago that actually talks about the fact that he keeps Nike products like Air Force Ones and things like that in his studio for inspiration. He even goes as far as to create a custom colorway of a Neymar t-shirt, which putting Neymar on a shirt without having his licensing approval is a whole other thing, but making a Neymar t-shirt that was literally designed with the colors from another Nike shoe. So clearly he's been inspired by Nike for quite some time. But I digress. Obviously, he built a huge brand off of what he's doing. He has a huge following, and honestly, I say that Kool Kiy's following is kind of almost like Kanye West following. Just follow, hear me on this. Like, I'm not saying it's nearly as big or it's like cult-like, but I will tell you this, the people that I've seen that are supporting Kool Kiy support whatever that man puts out there. Like, they are not listening to nothing that nobody has to say, no matter how much sense it makes. Kool Kiy's got the streets. I'm gonna give him that. But unfortunately, having the streets and being able to get money, especially exorbitant amounts of money, like $300 for an Air Jordan knockoff, because listen, I'm gonna just say what it is. It's a knockoff Air Jordan 1. However you wanna spin it is how you wanna spin it. It is what it is. But to be able somehow to get people to reach in their pockets and give you $300 for a lower quality knockoff Air Jordan 1, salute. Get your money. I can't knock that hustle. All I'm saying is that all good things usually come to an end, especially when you're playing with fire, like doing things that are kind of illegal that can end up getting you sued by Nike. And for me, the thing that really wowed me through this whole thing was his initial post when the lawsuit became public, with him targeting Nike by saying that they're trying to bring down a black man and literally pretty much calling Nike racist when Nike has been telling black stories this entire year. So it's just hilarious how we've been praising Nike for telling stories like Ama Meniere and 218 and Nina Chanel and all these other black stories all year. But then all of a sudden, when Nike issues a lawsuit for protecting their own intellectual property, they're racist? It doesn't make sense. Kiy, if you see this, my guy, the sympathy card, it's not gonna work this time around, bro. Like, you can't call a company racist for coming down on you for protecting their IP after watching you make a big bag of money off of a sneaker that you clearly knocked off from them. Because I guarantee you, if I made a sneaker that knocked off your sneaker, you'd probably be mad about it. If I made a slide that said Kiy on the bottom of it, or if I made something that clearly was something derivative of what you made, I'm sure that you would sue for it. If somebody was allegedly using your name for a brand or a product that you used before, you would probably come for them. And the way that I know this is because Kiy sued his own cousin for illegally using support black colleges down in Atlanta. So clearly we know that you have a history of pursuing people legally when they're not doing what you think they should be doing. So I don't know why all of a sudden it's a shocker to you that Nike is coming after you legally for not doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's giving hypocrite. I don't want to ramble too much, and I told myself that I was going to finish this video when the tea was finished, and the tea is cooling down, so I will too. Ultimately, do I think that Kool Kiy is going to win this case? Absolutely not. I would be shocked if Kool Kiy even got a settlement out of this case, because what he's doing is so blatant and so egregious. This isn't a John Geiger case, right? So let's talk a little bit about that, because a lot of people come at me and they're like, well, you support John Geiger, so what's the deal? Well, here's the deal. John Geiger did a much better job, number one, of acknowledging the fact that his product was inspired by Nike product. Number two, John Geiger did a much better job of protecting his IP. Number three, John Geiger actually retooled his entire sneaker and actually did what he was supposed to do to protect his brand. And number four, even after he got the settlement from Nike, still went back and revamped his sneaker again so that it was undeniable that the sneaker had material differences that differed from the Air Force One model. So I put John Geiger in a different category than I do somebody like a Kool Kiy that not only ignored the paperwork that he got from Nike, but then also continued to make a sneaker that was literally exactly like the Nike shoe, except with the Nike technology inside of the sole. And that is why I think that sneaker keeps folding up like a Chipotle burrito. People like Kool Kiy and Omi and a Hellcat, they are going to continue to be loud and braggadocious and arrogant and all these other things. I think that's because they tend to keep people around in their circle that kind of gas them up a lot. If you notice, and if you guys are familiar with Kool Kiy or people like SneakerPhetish Collective, they will literally block you if you're not basically a yes man for them. Like, they will literally call you a hater if you give them constructive criticism, if you try to warn them. And I know for a fact, Kai, you ain't got to acknowledge it, I know a lot of people have been trying to help you out behind the scenes in preparation for something like this, and you just kind of ignored them all. And now here we are. So I know that more sneakers are being sold. It might be for that lawyer money. It might just be because Kai really feels that confident about his brand. And listen, before I get out of here, I want to make one thing very, very clear. I acknowledge that Kai is a very talented person, and I want to make this super clear, right? Because a lot of comments in the previous video said, why are you bringing down a black man? Why are you bashing another black man's business? I'm not bashing a black man's business. I support a lot of black men's businesses. What I'm taking down here and what I'm bashing here is using clout and knocking off a sneaker in questionable business practices, like promising MacBooks to people that never get them, or taking pre-order money for sneakers that customers never get, or stuff like that. I'm bashing bad business practices and a lack of originality and creativity that makes the cornerstone of your business a knockoff of what's already been established. Two things: make something original or go and work for a company in color. Kai, if you see this, you're great at colors. And I want to say this again because I've said it on Twitter multiple times, but people, for whatever reason, keep saying that I'm trying to come at Kai. That's not the case. I'm coming for bad business. Now, Kai is a very talented person. He's great with colors. I mentioned this in a Twitter space that I think he'd be great working for a New Balance or something like that. Collaborate with somebody like a Joe Freshgoods. Work on colors. Work on collabs. Do something like that, and I think you'd be great at it. Or do something original. Do something creative that still connects with the people. But I think that somebody like Kai is a little nervous about stepping out of the box too much and doing something original because it might not connect with people and they may not be willing to spend $300 on a Kai original like they would a knockoff Air Jordan 1. That's just me. But if you call yourself a designer and you call yourself a true entrepreneur, don't go the lazy route because it makes you look like a finesser. Be a designer. Be a creator. Create your own products and make your own mark. You don't want your mark to be a derivative of somebody else's mark. The Air Jordan 1 is already stamped in history. What's going to be the Kool Kiy sneaker that gets stamped in history? Hopefully it's not an Air Jordan 1 because that's going to make you go away just as quickly as you can. That's pretty much all that I got for today, guys. Listen, those are my thoughts, my opinions, and my takes on the Kool Kiy case. It's unfortunate that it came to this. It could have been avoided, but sometimes those who cannot hear must feel. And with that, I welcome you guys to sound off down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about the Kool Kiy lawsuit, and let me know what you guys think about this entire thing. What do you think about Omi? What do you think about Kool Kiy? What do you think about SneakerPhetish Collective? Sound off down below. Let me know. Of course, right down in the comments, make sure that you click on that subscribe button so we can welcome you into the SneakerPhetish family so you don't miss out on any more dialogues, because I guarantee you guys, I got a lot of things that I'm cooking. Even the way that these videos look in the background, I got a lot of things cooking. Just bear with me. It's taking some time. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me here today on SneakerPhetish. I go by the name of Kari, and until next time, I'm out.